Hello and welcome back to the Loyal Sun Show. That's at the Loyal Suns on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Follow us there and follow us here for Pitt sports content you will not want to miss. If you love stress-free Saturdays and hate that we might not get the physical comedy of Phil playing tight end after all, this is the place for you. The Loyal Sun Show, a safe, sunshiny place for your Pitt Athletics fix, brought to you by Section 5. So glad everyone could join us after the bye week. Squid, Dylan, how was your Saturday off? Did you get to take in some of the non-Pitt, non-heartbreaking college football games this week?
Well, you and I were in a 6-hour car ride back to Pittsburgh from a wedding, an amazing wedding for one of our best friends this weekend. Congratulations, Tony and Bree. Honestly, I stayed away from college football a good bit this weekend. I watched a little bit here and there, but I think as a whole, I just needed a little bit of a break, a little bit of a, refreshing Saturday. I did watch a good bit of the Louisville Notre Dame game. I will say
palate cleanse.
Yeah, a palate cleanse. And it was nice. I'm not going to lie. This was a well-needed and well-deserved bye week for us.
Yeah, I was driving back from New Jersey, and I watched a little bit of the Red River rivalry on my phone, just because that game was electric. I always love watching it. I unfortunately had some futures on Texas, which that's what I get for thinking Texas was back. Irregardless, I got home and was sleep deprived, so I slept for a while. And I woke up and rolled over half unconscious to see what was happening on my Scores app. And I didn't have time to pull it up in time, but I looked at Twitter and just saw a bunch of what the fuck Miami, what is wrong with Mario Cristobal tweets, and was like, okay, I gotta see what's going on here. And I came to my senses and put that on and laughed for quite a while.
Yeah, I feel like we got to talk about that a little bit before we get into Pitt stuff, because Pitt stuff is a little bit sad right now. And if we can revel in the misery of Miami, we're going to take that opportunity. So, yeah, holy shit, Mario Cristobal.
Just like the most inexplicable coaching mistake I've ever seen at any level in any sport. I mean, you're a team who's rolling a little bit. Miami was 4-0, 5-0 coming into that game.
17 in the country.
Number 17 in the country. Have a legitimate shot, right in the thick of things in the ACC championship race. And you blew it because you just chose not to win the game, is what you did. When you made the decision to hand it off to your running back, you took your chances, or decided to hand it off the running back instead of kneeling. You took your chances from 100% of winning the game down to, what it ended up being.
It was weird. I have never wanted to watch an opposing coach's press conference so bad in my life. I was refreshing the Miami University football YouTube page over and over to see what Mario Cristobal had to say as to why he didn't do that, and he straight up did not have a good answer. He said he didn't recalibrate, and he didn't use a timeout.
He said they should have used a call timeout to call an E. Yeah.
It's can you not just hey, quarterback, take a knee. It's not that hard. And then he got asked again. He's like, we should have knelt the ball. Didn't explain why he didn't, but that whole thing was so dumb. It's probably better that he left it that way. But the fumble, the two big plays, I don't know how you let a guy get behind you in that situation, but that was the sixth dumbest thing that happened. So all around, great job.
And he has a history of this. This happened at Oregon against Stanford, and I saw someone else, a bunch of screenshots from past games from this season, and when they're winning at the end of the games, they just do not kneel the ball. They run the ball until the clock expires. So wait, didn't you say the running back had 97 yards going into that play?
Yeah, my conspiracy theory is that their running back, Don Chaney, I think he had 97 or 98 yards before that last rush. So he did get over 100 yards. It was Probably worth it then.
Oh, for sure. No, I can't believe any of this. I feel like ever since the Miracle in the Meadowlands, which is like the most famous version of this happening, every team that hasn't been coached by Mario Cristobal has been smart enough to take the free win. It's literally free. Just don't drop the snap. The defense can't rush you. I'm so baffled, but so happy it happened to who it happened to.
I was going to say it couldn't happen to a better program or worse program, however you want to look at that. Speaking of worst programs.
Oh.
We took our 6 minutes of fun taking shots at Miami. Now we're back to earth. We have a game this week.
While it was a bye week for Pitt, it did not lack entertainment.
Yeah, this is like the most... There's a lot of comedic effect with this week. Like, it was like a bye week. Comedic relief would be the term, I guess. It's like,
sure.
We're down bad. Just an absolute dumpster fire of a season. Programs in turmoil. Wait, Phil's going to play tight end. Like, actually, that's being reported by Noah Hiles and Chris Peak. That's not just us making a funny like fake tweet.
I think we definitely jokingly said that at some point. We said, you know what? I've seen enough at quarterback, but if Phil wants to try out at tight end, why not? He's big enough. I was a little upset because we recorded last week, just one episode for the bye week. And that was before Phil even got benched. So I don't know if it was after we recorded or the next morning, we're like, oh, Phil's not going to start this week. It's pretty big news. And then that became like the second storyline of the bye week.
Yeah, I was going to say we're kind of burying the lead here.
Okay, we can talk about that.
The Veilleux era, or as we are going to trademark, the Veilleux, has started in the city of Pittsburgh. Phil Jurkovec was benched, and Pitt has decided to go all in on the future after just an abysmal start.
Yes.
Are you guys surprised it took this long? Let's start there.
Squid, I think you made the call.
I think Chris Carter made the call.
Chris made the call. I feel like Squid did. He thought the earliest would be maybe after the UNC game, you said. And then Chris brought up the point that there was a bye week after Virginia Tech. Am I surprised? I'm not surprised because it's Narduzzi and Signetti. But I think I was surprised at like how terribly bad it was and that a change hadn't been made. I would say that. Like, I don't know if
you see a quarterback going 3 for 12.
I don't think there's much precedent for what Phil was doing.
Yeah. After the West Virginia game, if that game just happens in a vacuum, there's no, oh, this kid transferred here. You used to be from Pittsburgh and all this other stuff. You'd be like, that guy is so bad he cannot play again. But I think everything else surrounding it, coaches think they're smarter than they are. Loyalty, who knows?
I think it's more the latter. I think there was a lot of loyalty involved. Signetti is very close with Phil, and I really don't think he wanted to embarrass him.
But we did also call it before the season with our headline. I guess mostly Noah called it. We just presented the headline that Veilleux is going to get a shot at some point.
Well, no. Noah told us that it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, we aren't giving Noah credit for this.
Oh, I was going to give him credit for saying what it would take for it to happen.
Oh, okay. Because Dylan and I were the ones calling our shots on the Veilleux starting early in Pittsburgh.
David was the conductor of the Veilleux hype train, and Dylan was shoveling the coal into the little fiery thing. And
the furnace.
The furnace, sure. That same thing. Anyway, you two get credit for that, but we asked Noah, what would it take for this to happen? And he would say they'd have to be so bad, they're like out of bowl contention bad. And we were like, oh boy, I hope that's not the case. But I guess that's exactly where we're at. The season is over, and we have to see what we got.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
And I was just a hobo who jumped on like the third to last card on the train, and now I'm just here for the ride.
What do we think the like defining moment was? What do you think after Narduzzi watched like the flat route he tried to throw to Malcolm Epps like for the 30th time? He just was like running it back in his office, like, okay, well maybe he was looking and wanted. No, that couldn't be it. Well maybe he slipped and so. No, that doesn't look like it's it. And then after Narduzzi watched the play for the 50th time and could not think of a single reason for why that play happened, or several of the other incompletions that he's thrown throughout the season. Because I know I've done this. I've watched that play at this point probably 50 to 100 times, trying to figure out what happened. At that point, do you think Narduzzi just said, like, yep, this isn't going to happen?
I think for me, you'd have to narrow it down to which earth-shatteringly bad performance we think was like kind of the tipping point. If we thought that like he had kind of sealed his fate at a certain point and they were just waiting for the bye.
Maybe.
Because I think there's a point in every game where you had to sit and think to yourself, like, is everything okay? What could possibly be causing this? Because I don't know, if you aren't chronically on Twitter, you probably don't know the play Dylan was referring to, but it was play action rollout to the right. Malcolm Epps was just 6 yards in front of him for a quick little dump off so he could turn upfield, like kind of mirroring him. And he just threw it at ankle level 3 yards behind him. I mean, a throw that like your grandmother could make if you took 5 seconds to teach her how to hold a football like she's hitting it.
Yeah. And so that could have been it. Or like you said, it could have been they knew in the first, I don't know, because the UNC game, I was on here saying, I don't know, Phil looks like he gives us the best chance to win at this point. He was 11 for 15 in the first half against UNC. Veilleux threw 2 picks. So maybe the coaches talked themselves back into it, and then maybe they had the same progression of thoughts that I did. I was watching that Virginia Tech game and go,
Yeah.
okay, no, that's not any better, and it won't get any better.
I think the bye week's the biggest thing. Gives Christian 2 weeks to get comfortable with, like, hey, I'm the starter. This is how I'm going to go about my business, and come out of the tunnel and take the first snap on Saturday. Because after Saturday, we got at Wake Forest, solid team. But we're staring down Notre Dame and Florida State. You don't want to try to a new quarterback with those teams. So better sooner than later. Let them get his feet wet. Maybe. I mean, Louisville's pretty good too. So,
I mean, they're undefeated, ranked 14th in the country right now. Just beat Notre Dame, actually. Beat them pretty handily. So
we'll get into that impending nightmare in our next segment.
But it also gives Phil 2 weeks to learn how to play tight end.
Mm-hmm. So,
oh boy,
allegedly.
This was kind of hilarious. We were at a welcome party. So it was our friends, family, friends from other parts of the country that flew in, just enjoying a couple beers, chatting, catching up, getting to know each other. And then out of nowhere, one of our buddies pulls up Panther Lair, and it says, Phil
Which just
Jurkovec.
shows you how much of sickos we are. That one of our buddies is at one of our best friends' welcome party for his wedding, catching up with people we haven't seen in years, and he's just scrolling Panther Lair. But go on.
Yeah, and I stared at this screen for like 5-10 seconds. I read it. I read that it said Phil Jurkovec has been moved to tight end, but I'm like, is that the Twitter font? Is this like a Photoshop job? Are you fucking with me? This is a prank. It wasn't a prank. So throughout the night, everybody who I bumped into, I'm like, do you hear about Phil? They're like, yes, I'm fully aware.
The best part was every new person that we showed, it took them like a full 20 count of staring at it to go, oh, holy shit, that's Chris Peak saying it.
That's real.
And then like that's not some moron who thinks that they have access to the program because like they're buddy's second cousin's barber also cuts like ex-lineman's hair, and
never
and
trust a
tells-
barber. Yeah,
Never trust a barber. But it was crispy, and then we saw it on Twitter. And I don't know about you guys, but my first thought when I saw that was, that's the most embarrassing shit I've ever heard.
I thought
didn't
it was
think that.
quite funny.
I was
Oh
like,
yeah. That was thought too.
honestly good. If you're gonna go down bad, might as
Really?
well just fully go fuck it.
So I'm in the camp of like, after digesting that for about 10-15 minutes, I was like, I love it. Like, clearly they have to go a different direction with the quarterback, and maybe Phil could have just been like, yeah, I'm gonna call it a career. See you guys. Good luck the rest of this way. But I was like, no, you know what? He's made friends on this team. He has buddies. Like, he knows it didn't work. So he's like, all right, I'd love to help out any way I can. Let me take some reps at tight end. And then I started fantasizing about us being in South Bend, Notre Dame, watching Phil catch a game-winning touchdown. They raise him up above his head like Rudy, and it's a glorious, odd but glorious ending to this homecoming story.
That'd be like lifting up 3 Rudies. Just
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's carrying him?
The forklift.
I think it would be so funny if this kind of worked. So at first, when I was like, you know what, great, let Phil try out tight end. He's not going to go back in anyway. Now it's Veilleux and Yarnell to duke it out. So even if one of them gets hurt, they're going with the other. And if they both get hurt, all right, Phil, you're back, I guess, by default. But what do you have to lose? And then the next morning, I was like, I love this. There's no chance Phil is capable of playing tight end for us.
No.
Maybe they throw him out for like a trick play or two, but I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? I mean, the shitty part about it is we have Bart, who's like a really, really good tight end, and he already doesn't
get
play
targeted.
enough or get used enough. So it's just like, well, you're actually gonna have to give up a few more snaps for Phil to, get out there and play for shits and giggles.
I hate to be the fun sucker here, and you guys know I love like this is the kind of bullshit that makes me love college football. Just like, oh, our quarterback's not good, but yeah, we just moved him to like a split end, and now we just feed him 12 carries a game and whatever. Like the Denard Robinson,
Bell.
Braxton Miller.
Blake Bell worked out pretty well. I think he's still a tight end in the NFL. Logan Thomas, he sucked as a quarterback. Now he's a great tight end.
Denard Robinson played like 7 years in the NFL longer than he should have. But listen, love, some of the stuff that you guys said about like, he's just trying to be a good teammate, find his way on the field. This is the most embarrassing shit ever. The quarterback that was hyped up all off season, hometown kid coming back to Pittsburgh, the offensive coordinator and head coach stuck their neck out for him repeatedly, stood next to him, terrible game after terrible game after terrible game, refused to move an inch. All of a sudden, 5 weeks into the season, he is not only demoted to second string quarterback, he is not only demoted to third string quarterback, but he's now a tight end. He switched positions entirely. And that was the bill of goods that we were sold on. That is, like, Pitt has embarrassed itself game after game after game this year. Like, we're kind of a laughingstock now, if you guys haven't noticed, but
yeah, we're top 5 in the Sickos Committee power rankings.
Yeah, not a place you want to be. That is reserved for like Iowa and a random group of 5 school that something hilarious happened to in the offseason, or like Texas that time that the head coaches the assistant coach's stripper mistress's monkey bit a kid at a party. Like that's what those rankings are for. So to be in that position And then our starting quarterback, the kid that we spent NIL money to get here, is taking snaps at tight end. That is just the cherry on top of the shit sundae.
But it's not happening now. Embarrassment, all gone. Nothing embarrassing about the season anymore.
So that's the most recent update as of Monday when we're recording this. Guys, what happened?
Narduzzi is now denying that he was ever going to play tight end and that he was number 3 on the depth chart. And now he's actually the backup, which if Veilleux goes down, do we really believe that they're going to bring Phil in?
It's sheriff o'clock if Yarnell gets banged up. We're bringing in Yarnell.
Right, it has to be, right?
Oh, absolutely. So I don't know if I buy that. That press conference was a bad performance from Dews.
This isn't his first bad press performance this season.
I don't understand why he is so secretive about this. Like, who cares? Just say,
oh, he's
yeah,
pissed off. He's
Phil
pissed
practiced.
off someone got the leak.
Yeah, like someone found out that our quarterback practiced with the tight ends on Thursday. Say, yeah, Phil wanted to catch some passes, so we let him catch some passes, but we need him as a quarterback more so than a tight end. Simple as that. You don't have to be like, no, I don't recall if he did individual drills on Thursday.
And he was asked directly if he got snaps at tight end, said, no, he didn't run with the ones. Like, oh, perfect. Yeah. No, that exactly answers the question. Yes.
I would hope he didn't run with the ones.
That is the other part of my rant that I left off the table was if he gets one snap over Gavin Bartholomew, I'm just punching myself in the face, clean knocking myself out.
Yeah, that would be. I know we've talked about this at length multiple times. Of like Bart should probably transfer if he wants to make it to the NFL. And we've said we would openly root for him to transfer because we want to see him in the NFL. And
I won't root for him to transfer, but I will root for him wherever he ends up.
Right. That would have to be like the nail in the coffin. Like, okay, like looking around the sidelines, like, are you guys serious? You're running gadget plays to Phil right now while I'm just over here.
Averaging like 22 yards of reception.
That would have to be it for me.
So Veilleux, the new New
Veilleux. Stylizing that and spelling it on a t-shirt is gonna be hell, but I'm gonna figure it out.
He had a good game at Penn State once. I'll probably go back and rewatch that game 10 times this week and talk myself into he's going to be electric, just like I did with Keaton Slovis's freshman USC highlights for that whole offseason. I don't have much hope for this season with this offensive coordinator. I hope we can see flashes and be like, oh, wow, he really had some zip on that ball. Oh, wow, he can really move a little bit. Oh, wow, that was a gritty scramble dive for a first down. Like, I'm hoping we can pull some flashes like that to get ourselves excited about next year. I don't have any hope that this offense will look competent this season.
Well, Dill, I think you might be getting a little bit ahead of yourself. We can discuss our fears, hopes, and dreams for the future in our next segment, where we discuss our impending ass whooping at the hands of one of the best teams in the country right now.
Spoiler alert.
Yes, who would have ever anticipated that we followed a bunch of recent news with a Loyal Sun sportsbook and predictions?
No, I mean, spoiler alert that you're not picking Pitt.
Oh, and then I think I just threw you what they call a curveball. Because I'm feeling frisky this week.
Are you or someone you know looking for work in a recession-proof industry? Are you someone that's interested in things like having health care, having a 401k, immediate PTO accrual, an employee assistance program, or referral payouts? Our newest sponsor, Haddad Accelerated Delivery, an Amazon delivery partner, is looking for safety-minded and dependable drivers to join their delivery service team. Be a part of a company that will encourage self-ownership and award bonuses based on exceptional safety and delivery efforts. This is the ideal gig for individuals seeking full-time work or students interested in making some pretty good money during breaks. If you or someone you know is safety-focused, hardworking, organized, efficient, and team-oriented, text HADD to 464-646 to apply. I understand that is an impossible string of letters and numbers, so here it is again. That's HADD to 464-646. For a job that's the total package, get it? Because, it's deliveries. Haddad Accelerated Delivery is the place for you. Hey, Panther Nation. Have you ever crashed your spin scooter going down Cardiac Hill? Or wiped out on an icy sidewalk in South Oakland? Have you ever been hit by a bus crossing Forbes Avenue? Well, you may not have to pay that hospital bill on your own. If you're hurt in an accident, pick up the phone and call Guido at Gurrera Law. Guido Gurrera is a University of Pittsburgh Law School grad, Pitt football superfan, and experienced personal injury attorney who's licensed in Pennsylvania and Ohio. And it is 100% free to call him for consultation on your personal injury case. So the next time you get rear-ended in Oakland rush hour traffic, or if you fall down the stairs at Peters, call Guido. All joking aside, Oakland and the world can be a very dangerous place. If you need legal help, talk to Guido. He'll treat you like a fellow Pitt fan and never like a number. 412-229-7757 is the number to call. That's 412-229-7757 to call Guido. You can also contact Gurrera Law at gurreralaw.com. That's Gurrera. Call Guido today.
Well, now it's time for the Loyal Sun Sportsbook, brought to you by Big Shot Bob's, the original Big Shot Bob's in Avalon and Kennedy. We've got quite the sportsbook for you this week. In reference to what David said, the impending ass whooping from one of the best teams in the country, Pitt versus Louisville. We're going to get that previewed now. The official start of the Christian Veilleux at the University of Pittsburgh. And the first prop's going to go right alongside of that. Over under 165.5 passing yards for Veilleux on Saturday. David, you want to get us started?
My station as the engineer of the Christian Veilleux hype train, the conductor and engineer. I don't know all that much about trains. Sorry, can you guys hear my laptop ringing?
Nope.
Okay, because my work's call interface just went crazy. Sorry, let me try that again. Listen, I started this season as the conductor of the Christian Veilleux hype train, and I'm not giving up that position 5-6 weeks into the season. So I'm going to go over on Christian Veilleux. He looked bad against UNC. We can't deny that. I can't deny that. But I think he was put in a really terrible position, down several touchdowns against a very, very good football team in a game that was fully lost, but he just wanted to make a play. Abridged playbook. not a lot of reps with the ones. I think we see a very different Christian Veilleux on Saturday, even if it is against potentially a better opponent than North Carolina. We'll find out what's hype off of a big win and what's genuine football talent on Saturday, maybe. But I like them to run a smarter game plan with Christian Veilleux. I'm tricking myself into thinking that Cignetti got a little weird and dumb with Phil because he thought Phil was better. I don't know. That might not even be true either. But just give me the over and give me some hope.
Squid.
I'm going to say over. I think it's a pretty good line that we made here. But I'm going to say over because I think we're going to throw the ball a lot. And I think we might come out guns a-blazing a little bit. I don't know. This might sound stupid. David and Dylan, you might disagree and call me crazy for thinking this. But I feel like we might come out and not try to do the thing where it's like, oh, we have to run, control the rock. It's clearly not working. You might as well try to do something new coming out of a bye week. We've had 2 weeks to prepare. I'd hope it'd be a little bit creative and throw the ball a little bit more and a little bit more effectively. So I will say over.
Yeah, I agree with you too. I'm also hoping I'm not giving away my pick yet. I agree with you too in that they might come out and throw the ball a little bit more. I'm hoping that there's like a reinvigoration in the offense with like the receivers. Like the receivers are like, all right, we got a new guy back there. Maybe he'll get us the ball. Maybe he'll at least take the shots downfield, give us a chance at making plays. Maybe Gavin's like, you know what? I have a chance to up my usage here because this guy's going to throw me the ball more. I'm going to go under because this offense has been so putridly bad this year that I can't imagine that installing a new quarterback, I know they get the extra week, but like this Louisville team absolutely harassed Sam Hartman. He threw 3 picks, threw for 254 yards, but I don't think Veilleux's quite Sam Hartman yet. So I'm going to go under on this.
You forget that Sam Hartman is allergic to Louisville.
Yeah. Louisville, I thought Pitt had his number, but Louisville has several of his numbers. I don't think that's how that saying works, but
I don't know. Yeah.
On to the next one. Jawar Jordan, Louisville running back. Dude's a stud. Went for 21 for 143 and 2 touchdowns against Notre Dame last week. We got the line here at Jawar Jordan over under 110.5 rushing yards against this Pitt defense. Squid, you want to start us this time?
Yep, I'm going over. I think he's very good. And the scary thing about Louisville is they are not one-dimensional. CJ Donaldson had a big game against us, and they could only run the ball. They could not pass the ball with their terrible backup quarterback. Louisville's offense is very good. They're going to do whatever they want, and they will be breaking off big runs left and right. So, over.
I think I'm also going to have to go over. I'm looking at his game log this year. Only 2 games this year has he gone under 111 yards. One of them was like an inexplicable outlier, 16 carries, 32 yards in a rock fight against NC State that they won. The other one, he only had 7 carries against Georgia Tech, and he still had 96 yards. So that's 14 yards a pop. So this is clearly a guy who was good at football. And even if Pitt pulls off a miracle on Saturday, I think Jawar Jordan is going to be efficient, prolific, if you will.
Trying to scratch and claw my way back into the standings here. We didn't even do a score update this week, and we can circle back on that next week. I'm going to go under here.
But there wasn't a game last week, so nothing to update.
Crushed you.
Shit. I'm going to go under here. partly because I want to catch up on you two. Also because my logic here is it's going to be just a usage thing because they're going to be curb stomping Pitt, so he's only going to get like 10 carries. So that's my pick.
So he'll get like 88 yards.
Yeah, he'll go like 10 for 88, touchdown.
Okay.
Have his shoulder pads off by the fourth quarter.
Christ.
I hope it doesn't get that bad. Next up here, Pitt over under 20.5 points. We know the issues the offense has had this year. I mean, I don't think there's much more to say there. I'll go. I think they go under 20.5. I don't think Pitt offense has much life to them yet. I would love to see them score like 3 touchdowns as an offense. I don't see it. I'm going to go under here.
Yeah, that'd be cool, but I don't think they will. I haven't landed on my score prediction yet, but I will within the next couple minutes. It's going to be less than 20.5.
Over. I think I can tell what direction you guys are going to go in. So why don't I tip my hand a little bit? I think a lot of what we've seen from this team the last couple weeks, a lot of the bad, well, it's mostly been bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it has been there's been a chilling effect on this team. They know that when 5 was under center for them, they didn't have much of a shot. So, I'm not saying that these guys gave up. I'm not saying they were being, whiny little babies or whatever. But these are young athletes, and when they know there's not a great chance of winning, that's got to depress the level of effort you're willing to put into the small details, the crispness of your routes, finishing your blocks, coming off the ball on the defensive line with a little bit more tenacity. I think we're going to see a lot more pop in the step of everyone on that field just because Cignetti and Narduzzi finally said, yeah, okay, we're going to invest in the long-term future of this team. We are going to make the right decisions. And I think there was, I don't want to say they lost the locker room by continuing to start Phil. However, I did think it sent the wrong message to the team, and now they are sending the right message, and we're going to see that via multiple touchdowns on Saturday, win or lose.
Hope so.
Yeah, I hope. Next prop, we're going to go over under 0.5 non-quarterback snaps for Phil Jurkovec. Now, if you ask Narduzzi, he's not playing tight end. But I don't necessarily believe him. Maybe he'll come in as an extra blocker on the punt team. Maybe he'll be on the kickoff team, kick return team as a blocker. Or maybe he'll just play tight end because he's been practicing with the tight ends.
Allegedly.
Squid?
I really want to say over because I feel like Cignetti will give him like a weird like wildcat package, but is it really a wildcat package if it's just your backup quarterback? I don't know. Maybe they'll treat him like Tim Tebow.
Oh, do we forget the wild Pat?
Pass. True.
Wild Pat with Nick Patty.
But there was an actual threat there, and I don't think anybody's like, "What's going on? This backup quarterback's coming in. We've only seen 5 games worth of tape on him, and he's terrible." I'm going under. He's not playing.
I'm going under for the record as well.
Why?
Now, if this line was for the season, I think I would go over because I think they will at some point. But for this game, Narduzzi's going to prove a point, and he's not playing any tight end this week because Narduzzi said so and said he wasn't working with them. But like next week when it's like kind of blown over a little bit, they'll sneak him out and he'll be like, well, actually, we did start working him in with the tight ends after that. It had nothing to do with what was brought up in the press conference. But the coaches saw this and that from Phil, and we wanted to get him some reps out there. But I'm going under for the Louisville game.
Dylan, you took legitimately every sentiment right out of my mouth. He's gonna do it at some point. I think the fine writers and reporters of Pittsburgh bought another week of no Phil at tight end. But honestly, as soon as I said I made reference to the Wild Pat when Squid was giving his answer, a light bulb went off. I wouldn't hate that. He's a better runner than Nick Patty. Nick Patty was like gutsy, but Phil's a bigger dude with a lot more experience toting the rock. And I could see at some point, again, not this week because of those gosh darn writers. I do think we are going to see a wildcat with Phil, if for no other reason than like, all right, Christian looks decent. We want this guy healthy the rest of the season. So let's get a big body in there to push the pile. And also at tight end at some point. I'm banking on it.
South Bend, there's going to be like a pivotal short, like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Phil's trotting out there and taking the snap.
We're down like 24-0. Yeah.
Correct. Okay. First touchdown score, fellas. Everyone's worth 2. Even Rodney Hammond. We don't score many touchdowns as is, so I'll start us actually. Christian Veilleux. QB sneak. Maybe he takes out a pylon on a bootleg. Veilleux gets the Veilleux started with a bang. He's the first touchdown scorer. And Kitty Pickett is invading the show.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, I have Veilleux.
I'll go with him on the field. I think we're going to throw the ball a lot. I like what he's been doing lately. He's got a better quarterback throwing to him.
KP, what do you think? She really likes Rodney Hammond. No, I was actually going to go Christian Veilleux. I'm pissed at Dylan for taking that one because I think Narduzzi loves to make a point. How many times have we, during the show, have we alluded to Narduzzi's love for making a point? I could totally see him running a draw with Veilleux or something, but in the interest of being different, I'm going to pick what is like probably statistically more likely and go with Rodney Hammond.
Perfect. Fellas, right now, line sits at Pitt plus 8.5. 8.5 point home underdogs to Louisville. If I would have told you that 2 months ago, you probably would have both cussed me out. Does Pitt cover and give me a score prediction? David. Actually, we're saving you for last. Squid,
okay.
You go.
Good call.
I'll go with the less fun prediction. I'm assuming, based on the shit-eating grin on David's face, I think I know where he's going. I'm going to go 34-17 Louisville. Like I said, I think Louisville's offense is pretty dynamic. They'll have us on our heels. They'll be able to run the ball. They'll be able to throw the ball. I don't think our offense will keep them off the field enough to help our defense stand tall and keep it a close game. I do, however, think we might come out of the gate strong. Louisville might be coming out off of a big win, feeling good, feeling extra good about having to face Pitt this week. So Pitt might be up like 7-0, maybe like 10-3 in the end of the first quarter after a hot start. But ultimately, Louisville will figure us out and pull away. But let the record show, I think Pitt will start the game looking good.
Yeah, I'm going 28-13 Louisville. I think it's not going to be a magical fix that you threw in your backup quarterback, fix your offensive woes. I think this Louisville team, I was skeptical of them before last week, but after watching them really handle Notre Dame, I think they're legit. And like you said, Squid, I think they might make it interesting early, and for a quarter and a half, we'll be like, oh, this could be a game. This could be one of those upset wins, one of those games that Pitt's not supposed to win that they win. But ultimately, I think it's going to be a cold, rainy Saturday night at Acrisure Stadium. It's homecoming. Hopefully, there's a decent crowd, but I could see a lot of Pitt fans deciding to stay home and sit on their couch Saturday night instead of sitting out in the cold all night for yet another night game. And I think Pitt loses fairly handily. David, tell us why we're wrong.
What happened to us, man? We used to be the loyal sons.
Now we're the cheap and when it's convenient sons.
No, we're worse than that. We're the under no circumstances sons. Louisville is coming off of a program-defining win. All the momentum in the world. Their new head coach that they begged to the skies for. He's in place, and they're the number 14 team in the country. They're 6-0. They're going to be looking forward. They have an ACC title to worry about down the stretch. A potential appearance in Charlotte. And they are going to be sleepwalking into Acrisure Stadium during homecoming, the beginning of the Christian Veill era. And Pitt is going to catch them lacking. It is going to be weird. It is going to be funky. It is going to be even, dare I say, topsy-turvy. But Pitt's going to pull this one off. Not only do they cover the 8.5-point spread, Pitt wins 22-17.
I hope so. I truly do hope so. You got me ready to maybe sprinkle a little money line. That's what you got me at.
Just a little baby sprinkle.
Maybe a little sprinkle on the money line.
Does make sense. Once we're out the most, they reel us back in.
This would be a very Pitt game to win.
It would. Homecoming, you know what? Let's make it happen. I'm not changing my prediction for the sports book, but you've got me juiced up a little bit. It is the start of the Veill era. It gives us an opportunity to at least be hopeful, right? Something new, something that we can look forward to, build on to next year. Let's do it. And what a better way to start the Veill era than with a win over an undefeated ranked team, right?
Right.
On homecoming? You kidding me?
No Pitt quarterback has ever shocked the world in his first start and gone on to an illustrious career.
Undefeated ACC team coming to the North Shore. New quarterback.
Sure are a lot of similarities there.
A lot of similarities there.
Let's do it. Let's get a win Saturday. Let's drink some beers in the Gold Lot. Let's have fun. And let's see Phil play some tight end.
Please put Phil in at tight end.
Please.
It'd be so funny.
Just for like one play, it would be hilarious. Please.
Just for the giggles.
Correct. Well, fellas, I'm hoping we can see a winning team here for the Panthers again sometime soon. We've got kind of a tough stretch coming up, so if they don't do it this Saturday, we might be waiting a good bit here. But let's just win, please. As always, hail, loyal sons of Pittsburgh.
It's not much of a secret that I have a home field apparel problem. Even before we started this show, I couldn't even step foot on a new college campus without making sure there was something from that school's home field collection waiting on my porch when I got home. So we are, understandably, over the moon to partner with Home Field this season to keep Pitt fans comfy, cozy, and stylish at a fraction of the price by using promo code LOYALSONS for 15% off your next order. This discount applies site-wide and with unique vintage collections for every school from Pitt to Bama,
Jackson State to Colgate, Michigan, Marshall, Marquette, and both Miamis, there's something for every fan. So whether you're buying for a Pitt fan or for a loser freak, use promo code LoyalSons at homefieldapparel.com to save big on your next order. Each code applies once per email address, so get those work emails and burners ready. That's homefieldapparel.com.